I have two little exercises here. I've seen all kinds of exercises, and the combination of the two, needing the brain and needing the speed together, is frustrating. So if you do work on uh, having your pick and your fretting hand in sync separately from working on um, whole steps, half steps, and things of that sort, um, then I think it's easier. So I'm not glorious at either, but I've noticed giant improvements and comfort. I'm not stressed as much trying to get through these little practice ditties. And then when I go to do, my kind of noodling around, it seems like I'm quicker and more accurate, which both are good. So the first one has to do with just getting your hands in sync, and rather than trying to play a scale and remember, where you're going, so on and so forth, it's as monotonous as could be, and it would be what do they call it? Chromatic, right? So it's going to be first fret, second fret, third fret, all the way up the strings, and then back down again. Um, Focusing on trying to not get hammer-ons and pull-offs, but actually trying to pick, because that's what you're trying to do is get that hand together. So um, as you're sitting thinking of what to play next, or even if you just pick up and kind of run through it, two times of each of these, it's at least a limbering. And certainly if you run through it more, uh, I think it continues to help you get better. So, um, come on, brain, it's late. So, anyhow, when I'm not trying to perform for the camera, but that doesn't matter, the mistakes are good because if you are finding that you're doing hammer-ons, then slow yourself down and get that pick moving with it. And same thing with the, if you're doing pull-offs, it's not cheating. It's great to be able to do pull-offs, but for this purpose, you're trying to get your fingers and your hand moving at the same speed, and then increasing in speed and accuracy. Um, the other one is that Steve Stein guy, the blonde guy, who I think is losing his hair, and he actually admitted the other day that he's only 5'2", but yet he can do this exercise down low with those tiny little hands, and I cannot. Um, Pick a spot, where you're comfortable. 9 is fine. 7, 5. If you need to, up to 12. Um, I have a bit of a hard time getting much action down on the fatter strings when when my arm is beyond that angle. This right kind of a neutral position is easier. So um, the it's actually a major scale, and it's going to shift down a fret as we every other string, but we're going to hit 3 notes on every string. The first two strings are going to be pinky, ring, pointy. And then the next two strings, the D and the G string, are going to be pinky, middle, pointy. Step down, And then comes the little bit arduous part, right? We're going to, uh, so we did, right, half step and then whole step for the first two. Then we did whole step and then half step for the second two. The final two strings, we're going to do two whole steps. Um, and the way that he shows it is pretty good. You can. I found it. I suck at doing these. I babble. Um, I found once I had felt the pattern to get myself continuing down the string without tripping too much. Um, I had a little ditty in my head as I was doing it. That seemed to make it easier than why, I don't know, but whatever pattern as far as a rhythm goes gets you there is great. But he added in repeat, 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 repeat. So and having that little repeat in there, I think helps stop the tripping onto the next string as well. And then, and I'm not any good at it, but you can carry it up if you want to. But really, it causes the fingers in a simple little pattern to get accustomed to the whole steps and half steps that we kind of do, right? Um, Initially, I mean, I fell over this pattern like there was no tomorrow. Um, and what I found was in the transition of strings was tough, and landing my middle finger almost independently rather than having to feel where I was on that string and get the middle down. Just landing the middle finger was difficult. After working through it, very slowly. Nope, made a mistake. Go back, right? You know, it became easier with those breaks that I always talk about. When you're hitting the wall and you keep failing on the same thing, slow way the hell down, get one or two of them correct at a slow speed, and then move on to something else. Either when you come back to it while still in the same, practice noodling around session, or if you come back to it the next day, the the amount of increase in ability that you get by putting that break in way, way, way outweighs the trying to force yourself through it. Let's say you move from 5 miles an hour to 7 miles an hour, forcing yourself through it. If you just stop at 5 miles an hour with a good run and come back the next day, I guarantee you you're 8, 10, 12 miles an hour, kind of relative. It's just significant. So anyhow, there I am. And let your fingers independently hit. You don't have to be on them all, to get there. Start feeling it almost like a keyboard on a piano rather than having to have your fingers in a position to do what you're doing. And this one, try it all over. If the five, or starting on the seven, pardon me, is too much of a spread, you know, start up. If you have to, if you're comfortable, because when you get down here, that spread can be a little bit difficult. Whoops. But see, I end up kind of rolling over like I've got MS or something trying to get to it. Um, those two things over the past week or two have made a decent advance. I mean, I know it's not showing here on the video, but when you've made progress in your own playing. This I found helped immensely with being fluid, and the speeds I needed to achieve for simple songs were suddenly much, much easier um, since I had done some practice. Simple practice. This one for synchronicity, this one for spreading out the fingers and locating yourself on the fretboard. Have fun.